The Humble Oil Company affected many vital turning points in the history of the United States. The actions of Humble and its successor, Exxon Corporation, have greatly changed the lifestyle of today's world, functionally, economically, socially, and environmentally. Those have come through a series of innovations and ideas that are widely accepted by past and modern society. Today, the effects of Exxon can be seen throughout the world and are marked by social structures and modern luxuries. A man by the name of Abraham Gessner figured out how to make kerosene with petroleum in 1852. This introduced a cheap energy source compared to the previously expensive well oil. The rush to find big oil, and with it, big fortunes, was on. George Bissell successfully drilled for oil in Pennsylvania in 1859, and it brought people from all over the country. A city formed but soon disappeared because the well dried up. Great wealth awaited any one man who could find oil and process it in a quick, cheap manner. This man's name was John Davidson Rockefeller. In 1864, Rockefeller bought his very first oil refinery, and it quickly prospered. Rockefeller named his company Standard Oil and soon dominated the industry. By 1879, Standard Oil controlled 90% of all refineries in the United States. The establishment of Standard Oil served as a turning point because it proved the oil industry to be a relevant economic investment. This also inspired people across the country, including the men who would later form Humble Oil. In another part of the country, a whole different breed of refiners, completely uncivilized, joined in on the fun. They were the Wildcatters. January 10, 1901 marks the beginning of the end of the dominance of Standard Oil Company. An abundance of oil was discovered in Texas. Patillo Higgins was a wildcatter and predicted oil in the area of Beaumont, Texas. Most people, including expert geologists, doubted him. Anthony Lucas robbed Higgins of his chance and drilled his own well in the fall of 1900, which was soon a success. It became known as Spindletop, and despite a slow start, erupted the following year. U.S. oil production doubled and land values increased as well. By 1910, oil companies were popping up all over Texas, with Standard Oil now far from dominant. The competition drove oil prices so low that small producers neared bankruptcy because of how unprofitable it became. One small producer that was to become something big was the Humble Oil Company, located on the southern coast of Texas. All 9 founders of the Humble Oil Company had in some way participated in the early Texas oil refinery. Although there were refiners in Baton Rouge, Bayway, Big Springs, and Burke Burnett, there is one particular that was special: Baytown. Construction of the Baytown refinery started May 11th of 1920 and was completed in less than a year. Construction costs had jumped from a projected $1.5 million to an actual cost of $10 million due to expanding capacity from an estimated 2,500 barrels per day to 10,000 barrels per day. This large investment quickly paid off. The refinery was making profit by 1923. Rapid growth followed the startup of the refinery. By August of 1921, Baytown had 20 atmospheric crude stills, 16 Burton pressure stills, 4 steam stills, 3 filter wash stills, and a full complement of accompanying equipment. On the ship channel, the original drywood dock had been replaced by a massive concrete dock. More machinery was added in the next year, doubling gasoline production. By the end of the decade, the capacity had reached 100,000 barrels a day. This brought many new employees. In 1925, Humble started providing loans to employees so that they could build their own houses in Baytown. The company purchased 139 acres of land, divided into 600 lots to provide spaces for construction. Around this neighborhood grew a substantial community thanks to Humble Oil. The company installed streets, alleys, sewers, a water supply system, and electricity in each of these neighborhoods. In addition to housing, the company provided a hospital and community building. Many years passed in which the company continued to grow and prosper. This growth also impacted the social atmosphere where friends and families developed. Although it was not on a large scale, the development of Humble Oil refineries in various areas seemed to spark growth of successful cities which built up around them. The establishment of Humble Oil refineries therefore was a turning point in the transition from rural lifestyle to urban living. By 1940, a remarkable innovation had been found in Baton Rouge improving gasoline: catalytic cracking. This innovation played a large role in the growing sector of the U.S. economy, automobile manufacturing. However, when World War II came about, the company's refining was truly at its summit. The company was now run by innovative scientists and engineers and involved precise processes. One of the biggest accomplishments that the Humble Oil Company ever made was the development of the 100-octane aviation fuel in the alkylation process.
One of its biggest claims to fame was it produced the high-octane gasoline required for the Air Force planes. And that was particularly important in World War II. We're one of the very few refineries to produce a 100-octane gasoline that was required for the fighter pilots, fighter airplanes.
By the time the United States entered World War II in late 1941, the Baytown refinery was ready to meet the needs of the Army's aviation gasoline. During the course of World War II, Baytown was the leading producer of aviation gasoline. Another innovative product that was developed at the Baytown refinery was toluene, one of the key ingredients to trinitrotoluene, or TNT. In October of 1940, Humble Oil signed a contract with the United States War Department regarding production of 30 million gallons of toluene per year. A new plant was quickly built and called Baytown Ordnance Works and became the world's first synthetic toluene plant. Government owned and operated by 368 refinery employees, BOW delivered its first load of toluene on October 23, 1941, 6 weeks before the attack at Pearl Harbor. The BOW quickly reached its projected production of 2,000 barrels a day, and then started exceeding it substantially. Due to much concern of attack by German spies, the fences were secured and bomb shelters were constructed at the Baytown refinery. In the course of World War II, 2/3 of all American bombs dropped, torpedoes launched, and shells fired came from raw material made in Baytown.
Baytown's outstanding contribution to our global war effort has been a major factor in our struggle toward achieving the supremacy which our airmen now maintain in every theater of combat operations.
1944 marked the historic billion-gallon day in which the refinery made its billionth gallon of aviation fuel. Now the actions of the Humble Oil Company grew to not be just a local turning point, but a national turning point. These World War II efforts allowed the United States Army to efficiently defeat the enemy, therefore maintaining one of the most recognizable characteristics of the United States: freedom. The company continued to grow by purchasing the BOW from the government, and so did the community around it. The new employment opportunities at the refinery led to the population in the Baytown area to more than double between 1930 and 1950. Humble Oil had developed many products and had been referred to as Esso, a name derived from the initials of Standard Oil, S and O. But some states didn't permit that name, so the products were referred to as Inco. Their famous mascot came to be the tiger, which served as their key to advertising their already popular gasoline and lubricant products.
You know, some people have been coming into our Esso stations expecting to see a real live tiger. Well, of course, we can't guarantee that, but we can promise to put a tiger in your tank with our new high-energy Esso Extra gasoline.
A final stage of change in the company was the company itself. Over the years, New Jersey Standard Oil Company had been accumulating stock in Humble. In 1959, it had 98.27% stock interest in Humble Oil, so Humble Oil Board of Directors decided to merge with Jersey Standard. The sale was made effective in December of 1959. The Humble Oil Company kept its name until 1972, when Jersey Standard changed their name to the modern Exxon Corporation. The company agreed to keep the mascot and the catchphrase, "Put a tiger in your tank." In the 1970s, Exxon decided to expand, so that Baytown Fuels Expansion Project was constructed. In May of 1977, the project went online at a cost of $475 million. Once done, Baytown would be the largest refinery in the United States. Over the years, the Exxon Corporation made it their top priority to have the highest quality fuel they can make, innovating new techniques along the way. The company produced petrochemicals which allowed modern luxuries to enter the economy. Among these luxuries was home appliances and affordable food packaging. Also, the company made a large effort to substantially reduce energy consumption and improve efficiency to help the environment.
Well, the goals that ExxonMobil has are really the same goals that have been there for a long time with our corporation, is to maximize the shareholder value through running our business in a profitable way, investing in new projects that are profitable, all the while making sure that we adhere to our corporate responsibility to be good citizens. That means safety for its employees, and that means good environmental performance.
The Exxon Corporation continued to grow and expand all around the world and eventually merged with Mobil, formerly Vacuum. The company has affected the world at local as well as global proportions. Many refineries have been placed around the world producing gasoline and oil lubricants internationally. This has allowed jobs to be introduced to the places that need them most and has provided resources in a quick, cheap manner. The company has also taken an effort to help those communities in which it has already affected. The actions of the Exxon Corporation have most definitely affected our world. Therefore, it can most definitely be defined as a turning point in history.